Hello guys, we just got the first large language model pre-trained for just $100. It's absolutely crazy. While other companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars, Andrej Karpathy made a really good large language model for just $100. It explains why sky is blue and it writes a poem about it. Looking at the file structure, we see Adam W, checkpoint manager. What's interesting, okay, dataset loader or data loader and dataset. Engine, we'll see what that is. GPT-Pi, that's interesting, and we also saw muon optimizer. So here, muon and distributed muon, I guess this is for the H100s. Sequence length 1024, immediately interesting to me. Number of layers 12, okay, it's like a smaller model. 768 dimension, this is all interesting because I'm also like trying to build these things, so seeing this configuration means like I don't need to ablate so much. But you know, he always says you want nice numbers like squares of 2, and this is not a square of 2, but it's still maybe divisible by a few squares of 2. So yeah, these are also a bit weird numbers, like 6 is not a square of 2. I wonder what his opinions are on this, but I also find out that these hyperparameters work well. I would expect here to be maybe 2048, but I'm wondering why he chose this. Join my school to become AI researcher. I'm teaching you everything I know step by step, just $9 per month and 7-day free trial. RMS norm, this is just from PyTorch. I'm using this one as well. This is just popular. Wrote a rope, so he's not using rope from Torch AO, or I forgot, but he's implementing it himself. It seems like such a short implementation. This is so interesting because when I implemented it, it's like this big. This is such a beautiful, nice implementation of rope. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So it's so simple. You split big vector into 2 by half. So you take one half of the vector, second half of the vector, and these dots, I think like this means just like the batches or other dimensions in front, like sequence, all stays the same. And then you apply rotation matrix. So you rotate both of these parts. I guess you rotate one part, add to this. This is a bit weird. So these rotation matrices are also like hard to understand still for me, but I'll try to understand them. And then concatenate and then just put to this data type. But I think it's maybe better to use row by Torch AO because they wrote kernels for it maybe. And this is just row by Torch, I'm not sure. I mean, this is meant for learning, that's why he wrote it here. But I'm using like the other implementation for like faster training. Repeat KV, this is for multi-query attention. So you group tokens and put same key and value for each token in the group, so you don't need to unnecessarily recompute key and value for those tokens. And then each token has its own query. Causal self-attention, so this is again implemented for learning. I think he doesn't have kernels here, and if he implements these into kernels, then they would train even faster. But I need to check. But yeah, this is for learning. Here he's creating query key value, and he's doing separate linear layer from the token embedding to number of heads times head dimension. I explained all of this in my Coding DeepSeek v3 from scratch video. One trick to do here is instead of separating these as 3 separate operations, you can do it in a single operation. So you take just one linear layer that goes from an embedding number to, and then whatever the dimension, when you combine all of these dimensions, when you combine this dimension plus this dimension plus this dimension into big, and then you just the output will be like a big, it will be a big array, so big 1D tensor, and then you split depending on how long you need like key query value. So that way you just do one operation and you move this into memory once. And then this is the projection. I don't remember what this projection is. So I guess this is after you add up all of the values and the resulting mixed value tensor or vector, you need to project back into like token embedding. So this is at the end of the causal self-attention. And then here we have a query key value. Now optimization trick would be to put this into a single operation and then divide the output vector. Apply rope to query and key. Interestingly, okay, so then we normalize query and key, and then we transpose, so converting batch sequence head and then dimension of heads into batch heads sequence dimensions. So this will just like divide all of them into heads key query value, and then put here all of the heads, put here all of the heads, the whole sequence of tokens, but just for this second head, here the entire sequence of tokens, but just for this third head. And it does this for all of the query key value. Here KV cache, actually I don't think I was using this like implementation of KV cache. This is so interesting. So insert KV, I think this is just a memory, and he uses f.scale.product attention. So usually you want to use these PyTorch implemented functions because they are very good. Engineers who work at PyTorch, they are very good at coding these. So, but when you do research and there is no, then you need to like write yourself either PyTorch or kernels. So this is when the key value cache is used. Here it's created, or I mean, it doesn't exist. So this is if it doesn't exist. And this is if it's used. Now, what is this one? Maybe if there is like just one token. So this is the second token. I'm not sure about this one. MLP, very interesting. He's not using a mixture of experts. Mixture of experts is, I think, mainly good for inference. And MLP is easier to research with. And the way I understand it is, whenever you find out something on MLP, it can be applied to mixture of experts. Most of the time or always, I'm not sure. But this is also a lot simpler. Mixture of experts requires a lot of more engineering, and it mainly benefits inference and not research is what I'm understanding. So he's using ReLU square. I'm not sure exactly why, but I know that in speedruns that this was also used in another speedrun, modded nano GPT, where they found that this just like trains faster and better. I wonder, I don't know why exactly yet. Transformer block is made of causal self-attention and MLP. And so you just have this residual connection. So X goes to normalization, you pass in cosine, sine. This is interesting. What is this? I'm not sure exactly. We'll see what this is. Maybe when we call it later. Maybe this is just for rope. And then KV cache. So I guess KV cache is also like just in memories, saved in memory. Here we define transformer, which is just a module dictionary. So he's gonna set these weights. So this is the beginning embedding where you have vocab, size, and embedding for each token in the vocabulary. And then this is all of the blocks, transformer blocks. And in the end, we have output head, which is just in the end that it converts token embedding into vocabulary size. So this actually can get huge. So this single layer can be absolutely massive. I don't know if he deals with that or this model is not so big. So it's because this model, if you know its vocab size is 50,000 times this 700. So this is the biggest, like can be the biggest one. Especially in these small models, this LM head can be like the third of the model's memory. Here we got rotary sequence length. So I guess this is some kind of extension. So you got sequence length times 10. So I know that people are extending after they pre-trained on some sequence length, but I need to see if that's that. And pre-computing rotary embeddings is usual because there is nothing there that depends on the neural network on the transformer. You can just pre-compute these cosine and sine values. And then he stores them into memory. So this is GPU memory here. He also linked this paper below, a spectral condition for feature learning. And I know this guy is famous for muon optimizers. So the new best optimizer, he does a lot of theory on that, which I actually do for my thesis as well. So I'm reading his posts. And so this is that function that pre-computes rotary embeddings. I've seen this before. It looks kind of scary a little bit. And by the way, creator of ROPE, Sujian Lin, is publishing very interesting blogs on muon optimizer. He's actually very good in theory. He knows so much. He works at Moonshot at Kimi, the people who released Kimi K2. Follow me on X, link below. And then here we want to use Adam W for embeddings and LM head, so the embeddings in the beginning. And we want to use muon for 2D matrices. So that's how we use split parameters to use for these two different optimizers. And just in the end, we have generation of the tokens, and that's it. Then we have this engine.py for efficient inference of the model. We have KV cache, and then engine code is big. Actually, I'm not so deep into inference. I also need to figure that out. I need to learn that as well. But now I'm just focusing on pre-training. And I'm also interested in muon.py. So we have our Newton-Schultz iterations. He just copy-pasted this. This is just copy-pasted from the Keller-Jordan here. Yeah, Keller, this one. And then distributed. This is just copy-pasted. It's just a classic muon that you take a matrix, you make it orthonormal in a few iterations using Newton-Schultz iterations here. So it doesn't stretch or squish matrices or vectors in the neural networks. It just rotates other matrices and vectors. You know that when you multiply a matrix or a vector with another matrix, that multiplication with that other matrix it's like a linear transformation that rotates the vector or the matrix. So if you have orthonormal matrix, which means that its rows are orthogonal to each other 90 degrees, or columns, then that matrix will not stretch or squish other vectors when it multiplies them. It will just rotate other vectors, which is good for learning. So these people figured out that it's good if you eliminate this stretching or squishing of weights, neural network weights, and just rotate them so it learns faster with less data. Actually, it's tough to understand for me as well. I mean, I think I'm writing my whole thesis on this, and it's like there is so much to learn there. I want to quickly compare my LLM, Blueberry LLM, to Andrej Karpathy's. I'm sure that his is faster. It's also, but it's a bit different. Here, I'm using rotary positional embeddings from Torch Tune, not Torch AO, Torch Tune. I guess this is faster because these people made kernels, but Andrej Karpathy is making it so it learns. So it's easier to learn, to understand the code. And then main difference would be that I have mixture of experts, and he has just feed forward, but I think I'll go back to feed forward actually, because you see how complex this is, this whole file, and for him it was just 2 lines. And so here there is a million ways to make this work worse. And this is just good for inference anyway. So maybe I'll just go back to feed forward network. By the way, I make a lot of AI research videos, and if you want to contribute to open source, you just go to my Blueberry LLM. I'm going to leave the URL below, and here on the experiments, you can see our experiments. And I'm going to add you here, if you do experiment. So that's it for this video, and see you next time.